Good evening, and thank you for keeping a date with us on the program Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, a program that beams its searchlight on Nigeria's agricultural sector, highlighting the opportunities therein and showcasing the efforts of government and other stakeholders in developing the sector. I'm your regular guide, Gabriel Ojile. One of the problems confronting food security in Nigeria is inadequate preservation technique, resulting in huge post-harvest losses. In order to tackle the problem, efforts are on by government agencies and other stakeholders to come up with modern methods of preservation. Our focus tonight is on the Gamma Irradiation Technology Center, established by the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission to manage post-harvest losses and help Nigeria attain food security. Join me after this short break for the full package.
Ensure that we provide the necessary policy direction that will truly position agriculture as the mainstay of our economy.
The federal government is removing obstacles and offering opportunities for self-employment, wealth creation, and food security in the Nigeria's agricultural sector.
Think farming, think agriculture.
Watch Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, showing on NTA Fridays at 8:30 p.m.
The program starts with news stories from the diary of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. In our lineup, federal government launches National Animal Identification and Traceability System. Also, Nigeria Atomic Energy calls for soil mapping across Nigeria. Details shortly. The federal government has launched the National Animal Identification and Traceability System for the collection of accurate data on animals in Nigeria and to prevent cattle rustling and farmers-herders clashes in the country. The minister who launched the system alongside other stakeholders were treated to a demonstration of how the tagged animals are monitored and traced in the master control room.
Yes, so this is
Right. That gives you the breakdown.
Speaking during a stakeholders interaction later on in his office, the minister stated that the facilities for the system are at par with global standards of animal data collection and will enhance animal production in Nigeria.
The successful implementation of NAI will support livestock owners to identify their animals, curb livestock rustling, facilitate interventions in livestock sector, provision of credit and insurance, livestock movement control, animal recording for genetic improvement and research, ease of traceability, surveillance, animal disease control, and enable trade among others.
Also speaking at the occasion, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, N.S. Afolabi Mahihi, who was represented by the Director of Human Resources of the Ministry, stated that the policy and technologies are timely.
As part of the National Livestock Transformation Plan of the country, animal identification and traceability systems will facilitate keeping of accurate production records of the herd and information about the owner. Individual animal identification will also aid livestock farmers to keep records of animal parentage, birth dates, production records, health history, and a host of other important livestock management information. Therefore, a national animal identification and traceability system for Nigeria coming at this time is very apt.
Similarly, His Royal Highness Itsunupe Yahya Abubakar, who was at the event, commended the federal government for the policy and the technology, which he said will foster peace amongst communities in the country.
We must commend the federal government for its visionary efforts in actively seeking to enhance the welfare of citizens through implementation of this sustainable innovation. We are at a turning point in the cultural and economic development of our country. Social changes have altered the way of life of our people.
The Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Yusuf Aminu Ahmed, has called on the relevant stakeholders to speed up efforts to carry out a comprehensive soil mapping and testing exercise across the country to enhance agricultural production. Yusuf stated this in an interview in Abuja. He pointed out that soil testing will also help extension workers guide farmers on the type of crops to plant and the right quantity of fertilizer needed in a particular area.
We want to produce a holistic map of Nigeria showing all the fertility of the soils around the whole country. By the time we show the fertility map, we will even show which crops will be very good in which part of the state, and which of the states needs more fertilizer than others. It will help in planning, it will support government planning, it will support the states that will deploy their extension service workers to go to reach out these communities. It will also boost the local communities' knowledge in trying to change their way of cultivation. And those states that need support, they can easily get it.
Yusuf said that soil mapping and testing will be of great benefit to smallholder farmers who cannot afford to carry out soil testing before planting their crops. Do you know that nuclear energy can be used to preserve agricultural produce? Do you also know that Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission has developed proven technologies that can be used to increase agricultural seeds? What are these technologies and how effective are they? What impact will they have on the average farmer and agriculture in Nigeria? These and other questions will be answered in our next segment as we take a look at the Gamma Irradiation Technology of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission. Keep watching.
This is Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, located at number 9 Kwame Nkrumah Crescent in Asokoro district of Abuja. It is a commission under the presidency charged with the responsibility of promoting the development of atomic energy and all matters relating to peaceful use of atomic energy. The chairman and chief executive officer of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Yusuf Aminu, gives us more insight into the mandate and scope of the commission.
In the process of harnessing nuclear energy, we realized that nuclear energy can be used in different spheres of life for the development of technologies that can assist human being and mankind in general. One of the major things that we do with our own atomic energy is to try to see how the neutrons that are coming from the nucleus of the atom can be directed to either sterilize materials, to either improve the mutation of materials, to either change the biological content of material for the benefit of human beings.
In an effort to carry out its mandate of peaceful application of nuclear energy, the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission has a Gamma Irradiation Technology Center in Sheda, in Kwali Area Council, where a lot of technologies have been developed for agricultural purposes. Gamma irradiation is a process of exposing agricultural products to a controlled amount of energy to prevent them from sprouts, insect infestation, microorganisms that cause spoilage and harmful effects, amongst others.
We realize there are a lot of post-harvest losses. So it means in one hand you can produce, but in another hand you cannot utilize. So we have now come in with our technology to ensure that we control the post-harvest losses, so that the surplus we have, we can export to our neighboring countries and other countries. In one. Two, we can also strategically store them before another rainy season or when the needs arise.
Gamma irradiation technology preserves agricultural produce such as sesame seed, yam, potatoes, beans, onions, maize, soybeans, perishable fruits, among other crops. The manager of the Gamma Irradiation Technology Center of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Mustafa Tajuddin, tells us more on the advantages of using irradiation techniques in food preservation over chemical methods.
Irradiation is a technology that doesn't leave residue in the product. You bring it to the facility, you have it irradiated. In fact, that same day you can heat from that product. And at the same time, if you irradiate your product, or if you expose or maybe you lace your product with chemical, before the effect of that chemical can go, it will take up to 3-4 months. They will tell you that stay for about 3 months before you start eating this product. In our country today, who and who can do this? So if you have this technology, with this technology we have in place, you can have your product irradiated and heat it immediately without any problem.
The Gamma Irradiation Technology Center has various sections and laboratories which include control room, research and development, physiochemical laboratory, quality control lab, microbiology lab, sterile insect technique lab, polymer lab, a warehouse, amongst others.
You must have 2 people. If one goes somewhere,
this is the control room where activities of the sterilization of agricultural produce and other production work are controlled.
This facility is capable of irradiating 20 tons of a product in a day, depending on the dose we want, especially those products that require very, very low dose. We can load all the 16 wagons at once to go inside. And I told you, don't forget that I said this each of these wagons can take 900, that is close to 1 ton. So you have maybe the first irradiation, you send in 16, you can after some time send in the remaining 4. In a day, you can attain close to 20 tons of a product to have it irradiated.
Aside the automated use of elevator machines in the gamma irradiation technology, the researchers also use manual placement of small samples in the facility for irradiation.
What we basically do is to check the dose that is given to the product to be irradiated. Basically, there are 6 modes of irradiation. One of them is what we are about to demonstrate. This mode is referred to as the stationary mode of irradiation, where the products are taken in manually into the irradiation chamber for irradiation. Now, whichever product that is brought for irradiation, we will package it. There are different kinds of packages depending on the density of the product. Now, this product has been packaged for irradiation. We want to give it a certain amount of dose. Now, how do we know the amount of dose that is to be given to the product to achieve the aim for which we want to irradiate this product? We have what we call a dosimeter. That dosimeter is called an alanine dosimeter. If you look at what I'm holding in my hand, there is a white substance inside this plastic that is here now. Inside that plastic is what we have an alanine dosimeter. Now, what this thing does is we'll attach this alanine dosimeter to the product that is to be irradiated. Because we cannot tell by looking at the product that we have given it so amount of dose. It is the alanine dosimeter that will enable us to know which the amount of dose that we have given to that product.
Products irradiated have a long shelf life. Abdulmajid Lawal, the head of the physiochemical laboratory, explains the difference between irradiated yams and the unirradiated yams.
This is the control, the one that was not irradiated at all. So this is the one that was given 40 gray dose of gamma radiation. This is 80 gray, this is 120, this is 150, and this is 180. Now from this, you can see that the control, which was not irradiated at all, and the one that was administered with a 40 gray, they are all decayed. You cannot call this one yam again. But right from 80, you can see they still remain intact. So this is telling you that right from 80 to around 180, you can irradiate the yam and it can last for almost 1 year.
Aside enhancing the shelf life of agro produce, the gamma irradiation facility also regulates the level of aflatoxin content of the agro products to ensure food safety. This is checked in the microbiology laboratory.
A lot of crops that are exported have been rejected over there abroad because of the high presence of mycotoxin and microbial load. And of course, the efficacy of gamma irradiation facility has been tested, is known all over the world. And here in GIF, we have tested it, we have confirmed it severally. We confirmed it. The doses that are recommended by International Atomic Energy Agency and the World Health Organization and other agencies like that, the dose of 1 kilogram to 10 kilogram, within this dose, you can have most pathogenic organisms, and most of these harmful organisms that are associated with food poisoning, food spoilages, you can have them destroyed if you administer, those doses.
When you subject a sample to irradiation processes, it's not only that you are targeting elimination of the microorganism, you are also looking at the nutritive content of the food. Will it still be good for eating or not?
The Gamma Irradiation Technology Center also researches into the production of insects that are good for agricultural production by depopulating harmful ones.
In SIT, insects are mass-produced or reared, sterilized with gamma irradiation, and released in the wild. For what purpose? To be able to compete with wild insects, especially females, and drive down the population of the insects. So basically in SIT, the target is to drive down insect population in the wild, especially insects of agricultural and health importance.
The Gamma Irradiation Technology Center also has a polymer laboratory where research is carried out into the packaging materials for agro products, amongst others, to ensure that they are safe and of good quality.
So the Gamma Irradiation facility has a polymer lab. One, because food are being brought here packaged. So somebody wants to say maybe has wants to export fish. It's packaged, it's brought here because from the previously, my boss have explained that irradiation does not contaminate product, and it's not like there's a deposition of radiation in the product. Radiation is just energy, so it passes through. It kills whatever organisms or contamination, germs that you have within, and it leaves no residue. So when you package your product and you bring and irradiate, the radiation passes through. But afterwards, because the plastic has shielded have provided that boundary for the packaged material, you will not have recontamination of those products.
The center also has a warehouse where produce are kept for irradiation and delivery to farmers and agribusiness people that come in to use the facilities.
The GIF was designed as a demonstration facility, as well as a facility to render some semi-commercial services to clients. And if you watch in the warehouse, there are two main compartments. You have a compartment, as you see here, where non-irradiated foods can be packed or products, and the other side of the warehouse has space where, after irradiation, those products could be stored. So basically, the warehouse was designed in such a way that you will not mix irradiated from unirradiated food.
The program is transforming agriculture in Nigeria, and we are showcasing the use of nuclear energy in post-harvest management using the Gamma Irradiation Technology of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission as our case study. Even though Gamma Irradiation Facility is one good way of ensuring food preservation and safety, setting up such centers is capital intensive. However, with concerted efforts from government, private investors, farmers, cooperative societies, and other relevant stakeholders, the facility can be built in every nook and cranny of the country for easy access. The much-needed partnership among the relevant stakeholders to sufficiently deploy this technology and utilize it optimally will be the focus of our next segment, Partnership for Development. Keep watching.
For the Gamma Irradiation Technology to be accessible by farmers and agribusiness people, the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission is collaborating with different countries to invest and do business with Nigeria to achieve that purpose.
We are in partnership with the United States of America for development of nuclear technology. We are in partnership with South Korea for development of nuclear technology. The same thing with China, the same thing with Russia. So we have reached out to all our partners who can support to have a compact, simple, but efficient gamma irradiation technology that can be built even within a metropolis, so that at least people can be able to utilize that. And we are happy to inform that China Isotope Radiation Company has agreed to come in through the China International Development, through the China National Nuclear Corporation, and of course with the support of the Chinese ambassador in Nigeria.
Aside multilateral partnerships, some state governments have shown some level of interest in building this technology in their states.
So at the time the facility came up, what we did was we reached out to some state governors, because we believe that with the fund, with the investment, level of investment involved, state governments can, at their own level, have this type of facility. And luckily, the government of Ekiti State, they are keen to this program. So we are looking forward to a kind of a private partnership to come and partner with the government.
For the technology to be accessible in every part of Nigeria, every stakeholder has a role to play. What are the roles of the state, Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, and the private sector in the dissemination of this technology?
Those state government, their investment comes into twofold. One, they need to provide land, they need to provide infrastructure, they need to provide basic amenities and tax exemptions that these facilities can be built. The private sector will bring in their money to buy the equipments and the experts to build. Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission will support in the training, in the design of the suitable equipment, in the feasibility studies, in the business model, and also in helping to ensure that the local people are trained not only to utilize the machine, but also to maintain the machine, so that the technology can be domesticated.
Farmers who wish to store their produce for longer periods and agribusiness people who engage in storage business can bring in their agro-produce to available facilities for irradiation. But this call is better when the facilities are closer to the farmers.
If you look at the issue of transportation, you don't expect people to start transporting their products, their farm produce from Kano or maybe from Maiduguri to this place. We need to have this facility in all the 6 geopolitical zones of the country.
Like I said at the beginning, post-harvest loss is one major problem that is militating against the attainment of food security in Nigeria. And facilities like the Gamma Irradiation Technology Center, if built across the country, will in no small way reduce the huge wastage arising from post-harvest losses. It will also ensure that we eat healthier food and give Nigeria's agro-products a general acceptance in the global market. It is a technology that can indeed transform agriculture in Nigeria. This is why we'll call it a day on this episode of the program. Join me again next week for another interesting episode. I'm Gabriel Ojile. Have a great weekend.